My camera's crooked. Ah, come on. There we go. Well, it looks like I'm going to be waiting for viewers, which is fine by me. I figured, most of them know that I had a medical appointment. And why is my. There we go. Um, Hello. Dry. I'm just going to say Gaskin. Um, D. Okay. Thank you. I always get messed up with names. Ooh, 14 people already on there, even though I got one screen saying 14 and one screen saying 2. That's alright. Um, as most of you know, that I had a procedure done earlier today to basically numb my right shoulder, um, which was interesting because it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't as invasive. Basically, it was a simple go in there, um, and there was no like I wasn't totally out. It was just localized anesthesia. I thought when I read the information that they were going to basically put me under, so I would be asleep, but I wasn't. So I got to feel everything that was going on. I didn't get to watch. Um, but basically, excuse me. Basically, when I got there, it was like once they called my name and they took me into a room where I got basically changed into a hospital gown, and they took my vitals. So I was like, okay, well, standard procedure. Every time you go to see a doctor, you get your vitals taken anyhow. So it wasn't like I didn't get like overly concerned or worried because I was like, you know what, I trust these people. God's got my back. God's guiding them. So it's not a like I don't know. I just whoops. Let me put this on this side. I didn't get concerned. So basically, what they did was they rolled me into the operating room, which wasn't a big room, you know, and they had me roll off of my bed, gurney, whatever you want to call it, onto this operating bed, and they had this spot where I can put my chin or my forehead into it. Basically, if I were to describe the bed that I was on for the operation or procedure, however you want to put it, it was like it would remind me of the tables that you go to when you're doing a massage and they put you your face into this round area, and then they had a machine set up where it was like she can watch exactly what was going on through an X-ray device, so she can guide the needle that was going into my back, basically towards the spine, and I could feel all this, and it was it was a little pressure points and that kind of thing, but otherwise it wasn't like extremely painful. It was something that I could you know tolerate basically because I do have a high tolerance for most pains. And then it was like I can feel them, like I can feel the needle going in and her like moving it so it goes directly to where she wants it. Yes, it's a female doctor. Um, and then I could feel like a pressure point, like they were pushing on a point on my back where I guess this needle, whatever you want to call it, and then I could feel the fluid that's now residing, on my neck, or in my neck shoulder area. I could feel the fluid, a warm fluid, not a cold fluid, entering to that spot where they wanted. And through the whole period, they're asking me if I was okay, because they're pushing a needle towards my spine, basically. So it the whole time I can feel the pressure, I can feel the fluid being injected, I can feel the needle coming out of my back. um, and I have a, best description would be a 4x4 or 4x8 inch um, surgical patch that they put over the spot. So if there's any like bleeding or oozing or anything like that, which I have to monitor, and my wife has to talk to me, tell me about it. So basically, the doctor said if you have any like leakage, or if it looks like it's going to be bruised, and like strong, heavily bruising, um, I forgot what the other thing was, but basically it was, if there's any abnormality, of the spot after, well, see here, I got out of operation about 1 o'clock. They said leave the patch on for 6 to 8 hours. So about bedtime, Jerry can take it off and look at it, and make sure it's not discolored, or basically look like it's oozing, or anything, or bleeding, or anything like that. Um, you know, after that you remove the patch. Um, so it was like really simple in and out. You know, and the funny thing was is when I got out of surgery, or out of the procedure, before rolling off the bed, they were telling me like, leave this on if you feel any numbing, or any, she gave me a list of things to look for. And she did say, like, for the first um 24 hours there could be numbing, and then after that numbing, for like basically for the next 2 to 3 days, um I could go through numbing, then extreme pain, and then back to just normal, you know feelings. And Jerry's got a couple friends that she knows that, they talk to each other via email, or messenger, AOL Messenger, or not AOL, Facebook Messenger. There has not been an AOL Messenger in such a long time. I don't even know why. It's like I'm old school. I'm talking about AOL still, and people are like, "What's that?" Okay, millennial. Uh huh. Okay, Junior. I can't say the word right now. But the doctor was saying, "So everything's okay. You can roll back over." And as I rolled over, I was like I like went under my side, and then onto my back, onto the bed I was in. And they were like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay, but your donut there might have a couple bite marks." I was just trying to be fun, and they actually laughed. But after the procedure, because by the time the procedure was over with, I had not eaten since midnight last night. So I had not eaten in almost 13 hours, 13, 14 hours, give or take, which is not normal for me, because I'm like, I wake up in the middle of the night going, oh, let's make a ham sandwich. I got the munchies. I surprisingly last night, once I climbed into bed and started falling asleep, I just, once I got to that point where it's like I can't hold my tablet up because I'm about ready to hit myself in the face with it. I put my tablet down, and I was out until um, Jane. Well, Jane had alarm go off at 8:30 to remind her to take a particular medication she has to take still in the morning, and I mean the wee hours of the morning. To me, 8 o'clock, 8:30 is the wee hours in the morning. But we slept until like, see here, her appointment was 10:30, so we slept until about 9:30, um, and that's when we got up and got ready to go. Well, she had her wound care right before my my procedure, and there was enough time in between her appointment and my appointment to not have to rush, which I was thankful for. But it was like when they got me into the room for the procedure, they were like, are you allergic to anything besides what was it, grass grass pollen, basically. I was like, no, that's the only thing I know of. I mean, I've never had any problems with any kind of anesthesia or anything like that. And they're like, are you taking antibiotics? I'm like, no. Are you taking a blood thinner? No. Um, so, like I said, the procedure was like in and out. I was kind of surprised how fast it was. And of course, when they got me to the post op room, um, they gave me my clothes to, put my regular clothes on. And they were like, okay, we're going to call your wife so she can come pick you up. And she was basically in the parking lot waiting the whole time I was in op. Um, but I didn't need a wheelchair to go outside because they're like, do you feel dizzy? Do you feel like you need a wheelchair? I'm like, I don't know. Let me stand up, put my pants on, and find out real quick. And I stood up, put my pants on. I'm like, no, no, I don't feel disoriented. I don't feel wobbly. I don't, But still, there was a nurse walked me out to the car, just in case, which is like, hey, that's fine and dandy. I almost said I don't need it, but I was like, you know what? I'd rather have somebody walk with me, just in case, because I mean, the worst case scenario is she catches me, gently puts me in a, puts me against the wall so I can push up against the wall. Hey, crafty. Um, but I didn't need that, so I was like, yay. Made it out to the car, and then as I got in the car and got settled, of course, Oreo, which we have to take everywhere now, um, which is fine by me. That gets her used to riding around in the car, which is kind of what we want. But she was like, I wouldn't say all over me because where have you been this whole hour and a half, almost 2 hours worth of time. Um, but on the way home, on the way home, Jerry was like, "What do you want to eat?" And I was like, "A little bit of everything," because I was just hungry. Not me not eating, over a 12-hour period, or let alone over a 6-hour period, is unheard of. Um, but everything went well. I'm home. I've had my fill of Taco Bell. That's where we stopped. Um, and I'm doing pretty good. I mean, like I was saying, my shoulder is, it doesn't hurt no more right now, but they're saying over a 72-hour period I could feel anything from numbness to extreme pain because of the needle worming its through way through my skin and muscles all the way up to my spine. Um, so now it's basically for the next 2 to 3 days. It's more like, don't do anything extreme, no heavy lifting, no, nothing like that. I told Jerry, excuse me, I told Jerry we'll take the next couple days, we'll take until the weekend, you know, steady, and try a little bit, see how well I can do a little bit at a time without like going full out and just, I almost use a military term that most Air Force people would know, but I didn't because some people would be like, that sounds wrong. But if you knew military aircraft back in World War II, you'd understand the term. I'm not going to use it unless somebody asks, but I'm not going to use it outright. But yeah, for the next couple of days, I'm just taking it easy. Um, the heaviest I might get is laundry, because I have laundry that needs to be cleaned up and done and all that fun stuff. Um, so tonight is basically, well, we all had Taco Bell. Mom had what she can handle, because even the Taco Bell meat in the crunchy taco can get a little spicy for her, which mom's not a big spice person. And I can give you all the reasons I think that she's no longer tolerating anything beyond salt and maybe, garlic salt, onion salt, things like that because of her taste buds. But I think it's more because she has basically killed, for the most part, most of her taste buds from the years of smoking and drinking Coca Cola. I don't jump all on me because I'm complaining about mom's habits. Um, I think for the most part, she smokes like the way she does now is because stress levels with the dog. You know, she's not happy with the dog. She's not happy. Well, she's not happy with a lot of things, but I don't blame her because just the way things have happened. And mom prefers being, quiet. No extreme noises like the dog barking, out of the blue or for no reason that we can tell. I actually should be drinking tea or something like that for my throat, but this is what I have. For those of you who basically came in a little late, I was talking about how things went with my procedure, and well, it went great. I mean, I was not totally unconscious, which I thought I was going to be. I just had a very strong local anesthesia in my back, yeah, in the area that they were doing the procedure, and I couldn't see what was going on, but I can tell you I felt every pinch that was going on, and it was like not that their anesthesia didn't work on me, but I yes, I used to drink warm 7 Up for my throat and my stomach, any stomach issues I might have been having as a kid. Nowadays, I can't talk. I would say yeah, drink. I would drink ginger ale, but I'm not a fan of ginger ale. I don't know why. It either makes me want to belch like crazy or excuse the word puke. But that's just me. That's why I drink. When this time of year happens because of postnasal drip and whatnot, I usually drink warm tea. A lot of times it's warm tea with honey and or lemon. Just a lemon. It works wonders. Especially, well, that's when I want to go to sleep. Is the celestial season sinus, and it's a really good blend. But it, for some reason, it makes me want to go to sleep. And I just woke up from a nice little nap. I don't know how long it was, but I needed it. Of course, that's why I was saying that every time people at the hospital or the Mercy Medical Center were to ask me how you feeling, I'd be like, sleepy. But it was all good. I mean, granted, I am not looking forward to the next 2 or 3 days because they were talking about in the next 2 or 3 days I could feel anything from extreme pain to just the one that I'm more worried about because the pain I can probably deal with is numbness to almost a paralyzed feeling in my arm or my hands. And I was like, I don't know if I want the paralyzed part. The pain, it's simple. The pain was just, give me a very strong Tylenol, the strongest you can get over the counter without needing a medical prescription for like what am I thinking of? Tylenol, codeine. No, thank you. Oreo, what are you growling at? We have a lot of activity across the street at our neighbors. It looks like they're moving out and the house is going up for rent or sale. I can't tell which. And she's been like barking at it, barking at the activity, growling at the activity. The one good thing is when they do move out, hopefully my dog doesn't feel as paranoid as she does now, because there was an incident between my dog and their dogs, and let's just put it this way: the protective person I am was, one, I wasn't afraid of the dogs. I stood between their dogs and my dog, and every time they barked, I would be like, "Bring it!" Because their dogs attack me, I get to sue somebody. But their dogs were smart enough not to go after a person. They just wanted to go after my dog, and they weren't on leashes, which is, no, no, I don't care where you're from. Most city states, most locations, unless you're out in the boonies, have leash laws. Now, if you're out in the boonies and you got a fenced-in yard or something like that, that's another thing. But when you're in town and you're letting a dog run around without a leash, now that's no, no, no. Well, I'm surprised because the last time I was under anesthesia, I mean out cold, I they had problems with me because they were saying that I have, or they think I have, sleep apnea, and there was one time that they had to literally resuscitate me, which, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, life, death, it's all part of the same circle. I just, I don't worry about it. You know, granted, they had me sign paperwork, and I guess it was just an agreement to let the doctor do the procedure, because they didn't say anything about like sign this paperwork just in case something happens, we can't be held reliable, which is what they wanted to do in New York. And I went, heck no. But New York was not as bad as this was. Yeah, honey lemon, it's good for a sore throat. My throat is not exactly sore. It's just clogged with postnasal drip due to seasonal allergies. Ginger ale, like I said before, ginger ale, if it wasn't for how it makes me feel, no. I'm not going to risk my stomach doing the flip flops and end up losing whatever's in my stomach food wise. But yeah, um, excuse me. The operation went smoothly. I'm looking for, well, I'm looking forward to next week when hopefully everything is gone its course and my back is back to normal, or as normal as it can be under the circumstances. The doctors did tell me that within the next 72 hours, basically 2 to 3 days, I could be feeling anything from extreme pain to the possibility of temporary yet partial paralysis. Which, heck, if I can't move my right arm, well, I still got another one. I might not be as efficient as I am with my right arm because I am a righty, but there was a time back in my teens where I was ambidextrous. I do believe my mom said. Of course, they do say that most children mirror their parents. So since both my parents were lefties, I'm a righty. But I can't remember which cousin that was a righty that was a babysitter for me when I was younger. And I mean younger as in preteens, like in my adolescence, and they were saying that I started mirroring her because she was a righty. So I could, but it was a mess right with my left. But our our basically the rest of this week is basically we're going to take a little bit at a time. We're not going to force anything. We're not, it's going to be one of those. Okay, how do you feel, at the moment, or how do you feel today? Do you want to try to do housework? Do you want to just chillax? What do you want to do? So it's one of those things right now. Which I mean, not saying I don't want to do anything. I'm just saying that under the circumstances, until the um, damn it, they told me what it was. It was a type of steroid. Starts taking effect, and I don't have to worry about extreme pain while moving stuff around. I would like to be able to, by this weekend, I would like to be able to start getting into, um, sorry, allergies, dry eye, all that fun jazz. I would like to get into either the front room or Jerry's craft room and start cleaning that up and turning it into well, she doesn't have a table in there anymore, so I don't know how she's going to turn that into a craft room. Um, we've got to take the front room and try to make it into a full bedroom. So those are some of the things that we're working on. Um, I forgot so many different things going on. It's crazy. It really is. I mean, it's been a fun crazy because nobody's stressing out, which is one of the things I'm trying not to do anymore because stress um, is basically a waste of time and energy. I mean, that's one of the many things I've learned through, you know, not only reading certain books, but certain friends of mine um, that well, Lisa is back down in Texas. Um, there's well, there's a number of different ones. I'm not going to mention names just because sometimes they like to keep their privacy, and sometimes it's just not no reason to mention them. Um, hey, Fiona's mom, or Fiona, have you thought any more on cleaning up? No. I might. Jerry Ann and I are talking about trimming. You know, my beard. Let's see if I can do this on camera. Ooh, my beard has now gotten to basically right between my rib cage, towards the bottom of the breastbone. My hair back here has gotten to almost in between my shoulder blades. So Jerry Ann and I the other day were talking about giving it a trim so it can grow more. We're also talking about, now that it's getting warmer, that the sideburns are either going to get removed or trimmed up, and the area that I had last year, which was two strips along the side of my scalp, are going to get clipped, removed, however you want to put it. My Viking hairdo from last year. Um, yeah, that's basically what we're going to try to do, Fiona. Is we're going to try to trim it up, clean it up a little bit. Just lately, things have been so crazy, and Jerry can't really stand very long. So it's either the idea basically that I had would be she would sit in her chair, and or she'd sit on the couch, and I would sit on my my one office chair out there in the living room and just lower that as low as possible, so we can be at eye level and she can trim it that way. But yeah, we are talking about trimming it once the temperature stays stable. This week, actually a week and a half, weather has been weird because like what was it? Over the weekend, it was in the 70s. It got into the 70s on Monday and Tuesday, or not Monday and Tuesday, but Monday over the weekend basically up till Monday, and then what was it up till Sunday? No, it was up till Sunday. Monday it got down in the 60s, and then yesterday it got down into like 40s. We woke up yesterday and it was like 49, and it was supposed to get into like the low 50s. And me and Jerry were like, 49, that's not bad. That's just us because I'm warm blooded. She's got a messed up thermometer for a, messed up thermometer, internal thermometer, or whatever you want to call it, because of the chemo. So it's like, okay, what is it going to be today? But of course, inside the house, to help try to keep everybody happy, Mom's got like our faux fireplace going, and the temperature in the house has been 68, which is comfortable for me. On the high side, but comfortable. Mom likes it in the. I think there was one day when we were out for the whole day. I forgot what we were doing. Oh, that's the day that we went to Springfield to have to talk to doctor about my back. And when we came home, I walked in the house. I went, man, it's hot in here. My thermostat was set in the 70s, and it was like 75 degrees in the house. And I was like, oh my, this is too hot for me. Too hot for me. I mean, that's one of the reasons why when summer rolls around and it's jumping past 70 into the 80s and 90s, I'm like, no, turn the air conditioner on. I'm melting. But, you know, that's basically how things are around here. You know, Jerry sits in her room with I don't know how many different fans going, and it's still hot as Hades in there. This room has no window, so it's like when I first come in here, it's fine and dandy. But after sitting here for an hour with these overhead lights on, I start to sweat, and I'm like, no. One of the many reasons why we have come up to the conclusion to make everybody happy is Mom has her own little tiny house on a piece of property with me and Jerry living out of a, well, we want to get a prefab or a mobile home. So it's like one of those things where it's like, we've been looking, well, I started the search because I was noticing that everything that had a piece of property or something built on it was like getting out of our price range because prices all of a sudden jumped up in Colorado. And we found several pieces of, whoops, that's dead. Several pieces of land within, like, I think the cheapest one we saw was 20, no, 27,000. About the price of a decent pickup truck, depending on who you're talking to and what kind of bells and whistles you get, or what kind of truck you're getting. Actually, I take that back. No, I did see a Ford Ranger. Um, I did see a Ford Ranger that was like somewhere in between $26,000 and $29,000, and this was just a plain unit, no bells and whistles, no automatic windows, no built-in GPS, no, just the basic vehicle, automatic. I can't drive stick. Daddy wasn't around. Daddy never taught. Well, Dad had passed by the time I started wanting to learn how to drive. By the time I had somebody who could teach me how to drive, which was Jerry Ann, and they didn't know stick, they knew automatics. So, eh. But uh, um, so right now it's just like I'm waiting for the next couple of days to pass so I can see um, how the operation takes effect. Because I know, I mean, I have a good friend who was like, it worked out for her. Of course, it's mom's friend. And then I know a couple people from the past said like, didn't do me a lick of good. And I'm like, okay, well, that I mean, some people can have this procedure done and helps them out tremendously, like they can live their life, a normal life again. Other people, and I think it's also attitude. My attitude is it's gonna work. You know, everything's gonna work out fine. So I'm just, you know, hanging in there. Um, I guess that's about the only thing you can do. You know, basically listen to what the doctors tell you. What to expect, what to do, what to look out for, um, things like that. Yeah, I wanted to learn to stick from a pickup truck that a friend of ours had. That never happened. And then when my dad passed away, we had two different vehicles. We had a Toyota pickup truck. Do we have that Toyota pickup truck? Yeah, we had a Toyota pickup truck that mom was driving. She kind of took it over. We also, at the same time, we had a Ford Tempo. Both of those were automatic. And then my father, I don't know how he did it, but my father was able to purchase a old um, 1971 Ford pickup truck. The old pickup trucks where when you closed that door, you knew it was built solid because it sounded like one big piece of iron with a camper shell on the back, an actual camper on the back. And granted, at the time, I wasn't even driving. I was like 15 years old when my dad passed. The summer before I turned 16, and I didn't even have a driver's permit. And Dad kept on saying he's going to teach me how to drive. He's going to teach me how to drive. And what ended up happening was when he passed away, my cousin Luke got the '71 pickup truck. Mom kept with the Toyota pickup truck, and we gave the Tempo to. I think we gave the Tempo to my cousin um, Debbie. Um, well, I don't remember about the other two vehicles. I just know that the 1971 Ford pickup truck, I wanted because I was like, if there was any vehicle to learn how to drive in the late mid '80s, would be that Ford pickup truck because that sucker was like, oh, you hit me. I got a dent, but oh, I'm sorry about your car. The engine's sitting on the concrete. The whole front end is crumpled in. You know, so that's why I wanted that Ford pickup truck, that '71, because I knew if me learning how to drive and anything were to happen, I would be sitting there going, yeah, I don't know what to do about this. I mean, he dented the vehicle, but I mean, look at his poor car. I don't even know how fast he was driving. You know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I wanted the reason why I wanted to learn to stick is one, sticks are actually cheap. Well, they were back then cheaper than than automatics. But nowadays, it's like the world is being, the only people who drive stick shift is truck drivers and I don't even know if farm equipment is stick still. I know that my uncle, actually, it wasn't my uncle, he was my cousin. He had a farm here in Sullivan, Missouri, or Japan, Missouri, however you want to put it. Japan, Missouri has become a suburb of Sullivan, so it's now called Sullivan, Missouri. I don't even know if Japan, Missouri is still on the map, but my uncle had a little farm. He had land and he grew crops, and most of those crops were like he didn't sell it to market. He didn't take it to market. It was for family and close friends. And I remember when I was a kid, right after we got back from Germany, so this had to be around '83. We were actually spending the holidays in, well, close to my cousins. And I remember riding in that one of the tractors they had, and it was a Ford. Now, in the family, we joke about Fords, even though we know that in the past the Fords were like the best of the best, basically at the time. And I mean, I remember riding in the tractor and my cousin shifting gears, and I got interested in it. You know, of course, after my father passed, well, I don't know if Marvin was still alive or not. No, 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 no. This had to be before. I can't remember when this was, but we were out here visiting. We were still living in Arizona. Dad was still alive, I think. And we came out here for the holidays. Or if it wasn't the holidays, it was to go to a family affair. And I remember joking with my cousin going, "So I hear your Ford tractor broke down." He goes, "Yeah, it needs parts, and I can't get the parts, and these old tractors aren't, don't you can't get the parts for the old tractors anymore." I said, "Well, why don't you switch over to a John Deere?" He's just about. I thought he was going to throw something at me. He was like, "John Deere, those something." No, he just went off. But it's good to be able to look back and see the jokes and the funny, the some of the funny stuff that's happened over the years. I I know my family has always been kind of spread apart, but we usually sometimes we keep in contact. Sometimes we don't. I got family here in Missouri. I haven't even seen in God. See here, been in Missouri for at least minimum of 10 years. I hate it when my hair gets caught up on my glasses. Yeah, we've been here for almost 10. Let's see here, yeah, 11 years. It'll be 11 years of this summer, which I'm hoping to be out of here before. I'm actually hoping to be out of here before summer starts up and gets too warm. But it's 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 not actually totally in my control, but it's something that yeah, it's definitely I'm I'm not forcing it, but the thing is I understand some of my wife's concerns and whatnot. My mom and I don't seem to have those concerns. I guess part of the reason why is when I was growing up, every 3 years we moved someplace new when my dad was in the military. And even after he got out of the military, the from Oh my, 84 to 86, 87. No, 87 because I was gonna be 16 that October when he passed away. So he had been out of the military for a good 3 years or more, and we had bounced all over Phoenix. Um, yes, it's going to be a little bit harder than we originally thought because, well, part of it is Social Security. Part of it is how much we can earn on YouTube. It also, it's also, like, am I going to have to get a job outside the house, or am I going to be able to get paid for taking care of my wife? And if I can't get paid from my taking care of my wife, are we going to be able to get? I mean, we looked it up. I'm already eligible, even before my back issues, to get Social Security because of anxiety, asthma, which is only it's only twice a year that that happens. My educational background because of my mental status, I guess you'd say, um, and pre-existing conditions with my back before the operation. From New York when my back started giving me problems. So you know it's one of those, like, yeah, I could probably sit down and go through a bunch of hoops and whatnot with with a social security law firm. There's quite a few of them out there now, but the toughness is, you know, are we going to be able to afford it more than anything else? Because yeah, the prices, a lot of the places that we were originally looking at, the prices have either gone up or they've been bought. So now we started looking at land because land seems to be the cheapest. The only downside with land is, okay, mom could probably afford her tiny house once we get the land in our name. So then it's like, how long does Jerry Ann and I live out of the camper before we can afford to get a trailer, mobile home or something like that, placed in the areas that we're looking at, because we realized that Canyon City has like really gotten expensive all of a sudden, and Pueblo has got got like areas in Pueblo West where they're building up, so they're selling plots of land, and one plot of land that we saw that was like 39 to $40,000 was in a to be subdivision, and the plot of land that we looked at in this area that's being built up was 1.1 acres. And I was like, well, that's great because that's just enough to have our trailer, our mobile home, mom's tiny house, build up a garage, build up something that can hide or cover, protect, whatever, the two vehicles and the camp trailer, and still have enough room for, like, maybe buy a or have a shed built on it, maybe two sheds, one shed for actual stuff and another shed for, well, basically one of the places that we looked at had this nice 4 bedroom, 2 bath mobile home, and two outbuildings. One was actually supposed to be a garage, but I can't tell if anybody parked in it. And the other one looked like a workshop, like not a really big workshop, but it had a potbelly stove and concrete floor. And I was like, well, geez, put a ceiling fan in there, and keep cool during the summertime, and keep warm during the wintertime, and I can turn it into my private little. I'm going outside to get away from everybody. But the other thing Mom's worried about, and that's why Mom was like, "Why don't we get something with like 2 acres or more, so we're not so close together. We're a little more spread apart." And I was like, "Well, that sounds great, but if we have your tiny home built where it's insulated and you don't hear much from outside, the dog won't be such a problem when she goes running outside barking at stuff." And then of course Jerry's like, "Well, I don't want to be out in the middle of nowhere because one day your dog's going to be barking at something. Next thing you're going to hear yelping because there's a bear or something out there trying to get to it." You know. I was like, "Yeah, you're right." Because I did find a spot, a piece of property with like 5 acres, for I think it was like $60,000. And it was surrounded by ponderosa pine, and it looked like they already cleared an area to set up for building or placing a trailer or two. I mean, and I was like, "Well, let's see here. What could we get? It looks nice. It's a nice area. You're kind. It's. I looked at the aerial map, and there's one road to the house site or the build site, and very few to nobody around. Excuse me for a second. I hear my dog wrestling with something. What are you doing? What are you doing out here? Hope you don't got no paper. What? You just trying to get in? Hmm? Come on. Sorry about that, folks. Um, but no, I was looking at the property and whatnot and how to get there and and I'm like, wow, that is kind of out away from everybody, surrounded by woods. And my brain started going, what kind of troubles could Oreo get into? Let's see here. There's the various venomous snakes, coyotes, bears, mountain lions, bobcats, lynx. I know all the animals for that area of the country, and I was just like, would be nice. A little bit high on the price range, but yeah, I mean, what if we get stuck out there and don't have enough food? You'd be the first thing on the menu. No, I would not do that to my dog. Um, just have to learn to do what my dad did when he was growing up. Basic meals were, biscuits made with water and flour, or biscuits with milk, or biscuits and gravy, which means you have to have milk just for the gravy. He grew up in a tough area of Chicago. He was born in '41. So that he grew up in a tough neck of the woods and hard times because it was towards the end of the Depression, and food was like either scarce or you're eating that government cheese. And I've had government cheese, and that stuff is nasty. I mean, it don't melt. It gives you constipation. No, thank you. I gotta get rid of this bottle. I don't know why I'm grabbing at it. It's dead. Stay out of there, Oreo. Last thing I need you to do is go through my garbage. It's mostly icky, nasty papers and whatever. But, you know, my family, we've gone through a lot. I mean, my parents knew I was going to be not really a troubled childhood, like in, troubled mentally, but yeah, sometimes food is food. But I've had some of the old K rations, and I've also had the MREs. Um, I like the MREs better than the old K rations. Those K rations sit around too long, and all you taste is tin. You know. You enjoying that? Hmm? You enjoying that? She, Jerry got a what they call a forever bone for the dog. Can I see this? Can I see this? I'll give it back. I'll give it back home. Basically, it looks like a tree branch and it looks like hard plastic that basically is supposed to be indestructible. And she's had it for some time, and boy, has she been trying to destroy it. Only thing is, don't let her drop it on my feet because it hurts. It does. Yeah, that's how Joanne grew up. Was food around her place was first one at at the table, best one fed. She used to tell me stories about how she would jump in the um, pull lunches out of the trash can because the kids that had money, just throw their lunches in the trash can and buy it from the store school. Told me how that some of the cafeteria workers would go ahead and they started this program where students who could afford their lunches could leave their lunch bag um, by a certain spot in a cafeteria or by where the students go to get their food anyhow. For those like Jerry Ann who they didn't have enough money to make lunch, you know. And I think I've known a couple people who were in similar circumstances where there was not always enough food. So, hey Mona, so they would exactly that is that they would take free lunches. Um, and I feel sorry for those kind of people. I mean, I didn't grow up poor, but I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I mean, growing up in the military, you're basically pretty well taken care of. But there was no guarantees. I mean, especially once you got to the states and your parents retired, it's like we were able to travel. Well, that was paid by the government. So just life experiences. Everybody has their own. I'm pretty sure Mona, who I think I can't remember what branch you grew up in. You were telling me about that. Even growing up in the military, there's no guarantees things are going to work out the way you want them. You just have to basically step in line with the orders and walk that line. Oh, yeah. Okay, Air Force. I thought so. I thought so. Um, Mona, I never grew up, or I never been in a homeless shelter. I've just known people who have been, and I understand. A lot of times, there's a lot of insecurities just because of the homeless shelter. People trying to steal your stuff. Food was first come, first serve. Um, you're not really guaranteed safety in a lot of those places. I mean, when my father well, a couple years after my father passed away, my mom got involved with this guy um, through the group was called PWP, Parents Without Partners, and basically it was basically any parent that did not have a spouse could join this group. The kids have activities, the adults had activities. Sometimes we would get together and go camping near Prescott Valley area in Arizona, and let me just put it this way: from the day I met him to the day that my mom finally woke up to what he was doing, I never, I could never see eye to eye to this guy. In fact, I personally got so mad at him because of his kids that I got really mad and I yelled at his kids and told his kids not to drink from my my personal items that I was buying with my own money because I was getting money from my dad's my dad's min- my father's military benefits, and he got mad and started yelling at me for telling his kids what they can and cannot do in my mom's house. And I had gotten so mad, and this was back when I had anger issues and manic depression and suicidal tendencies, and then it jumped to homicidal because I basically told this guy to start sleeping with one eye open because I'll cut him open like a Christmas turkey. And I found out years later that that night, after I had basically gone to bed, that he asked my mom, "Am I serious?" And my mom just looked at him and said, "He is his father's son." Which basically means if I say it, there's a chance it could happen. And thank God it didn't happen because I would have seen prison. Even as how old was I? About 17, 18 years of age. Actually, closer to 20. Nah, closer to 19. It was closer to 19. And then after that happened, my psychiatrist suggested a group for people of my age to help basically learn how to survive in the world, which in a sense I already knew how to survive. The only thing I didn't know is money, finances and things like that. But this place was called LDI, Life Development Institute, and it didn't really it helped me with understanding. You got to have money to pay for things and stuff like that, which I probably would have learned at a much earlier age if my father had been alive. Of course, my father would not have let me quit high school like I did. Well, I quit high school on a good note, but still, he would no. He either would have made sure that I had my diploma. But the thing I did do, which my father would have been happy about, was I did get my GED within about a year or so after was it a year or so after was it after I left LDI or before I left LDI? I can't remember, but I had gotten it, within a short period of basically dropping out of school, um, within a good year and a half. But you know, there's a lot of things I've done, and I don't regret them no more. I actually do not regret a lot of things anymore. I think because I'm realizing regret is just another form of depression and another form of negative energy that I don't need in my life anymore. Um, so it's kind of like just I'm I've changed in the last 35 years. You know, I went down. Yeah, granted, I went down an ugly hole and was there for a couple of years, and then I brung myself out of it, and then I fell back into it because just things weren't. When Mom and I moved to Missouri and settled here in Rolla after moving to two other places, um, my biggest problem was holding down a job. Now I don't know if that was because I know the one job I did have, the manager fired me himself, and I think that was because of the fact that I was getting too good at my job. I noticed that's a theme here in Rolla is if you're getting too good at what you're doing, and one of your bosses does not like that idea because they're afraid that somebody like me will take over their position as supervisor or general manager, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be. I dealt with management once when I was working after me and Jerry moved here. I was an overnight manager at Burger King, and they kind of forced me out. Well, one, they stopped doing the overnights, and two, let's just put it this way: I found out that my supervisor is more female oriented than male oriented. She has a tough time dealing with men who basically can be authority figures over her. And I'm just like, whatever. I don't care. I mean, she wants to fire me. She wants to fire me. Actually, no, I quit Burger King because of something else. That's a different manager I was talking about. No, I quit Burger King. I already had another job, so I was working two jobs at the same time. But I quit Burger King because basically Labor Day weekend, one of the busiest days of the season, basically. Was it Labor Day or Memorial? It was in the spring, so I can't remember which is which. But I was there in the window taking orders, and then our morning crew comes in. More than enough to basically have one person help me out with all these orders because it was like a madhouse. And the general manager was like, "No, you can do it by yourself." And I went, "No, if I knew I can do it by myself, I wouldn't be asking for assistance. But since you're not giving me an assistance, we either need to sit down and talk about the whole position situation, or, well, busy holiday, you're going to be short one person." She decided not to comply or assist or anything like that. So I started walking out the store, and she goes, "Are you quitting?" I'm like, "Damn right, you're not helping me. You're being a," I even said it right in front of other people, "bitch." She goes, "Well, give me the keys." I'm like, "Here they are. Here's the keys. In fact, here's the cap for the job, and here's your work shirt." Granted, I had another shirt underneath that, so I wasn't worried about walking out without a shirt. But then there was I worked at one of the grocery stores here, Kroger's. I actually was hired right there on the spot because I had already put in my paperwork one night before we left New York. So like the next day after we got here to Missouri, I went into Kroger and I said, "My name is James. I got a message to speak to the store manager as soon as I got in town." And they were like, "Yeah, sure." And they picked up the phone, and I went upstairs, and he goes, "So you've been working for nearly 20 years, or not 20 years, like 13, 14 years, um, in deli department." I was like, "Yes, sir. That's exactly what I was doing in New York, and that's what I applied for." He goes, "When can you start?" And I said, "I can start right now, or I can start tomorrow. I don't care. I'm in need of a job, and I know what I'm doing when it comes to the deli." So they got me into the deli. The deli manager at the time trained me how to do her job, basically, or trained me for the bulk of it. She didn't really sit down and train me for like the bakery aspect, because my assistant manager, would you quit trying to play with that? Um, my assistant manager was basically the bakery manager. Now, what I didn't know behind my back was there was already plots of basically either demoting me or getting me fired. Now, I take my job seriously. I was told there was a one spot, the rolling cart, that basically anything that either has to be tossed or anything that can be labeled for next day sale. In other words, it's got one day left, and if it doesn't sell by the end of that day, it's garbage. Um, well, I was told that once those are marked and labeled, put them where put them over here in this one spot. If you find stuff that's there that's not deli, you take that up front. Either take it up front or take it to the department it belongs into. So what I was doing was exactly what I was told to do. Well, the assistant manager, who was getting upset that she had to do the orders and all that stuff because I wasn't trained how to do it, and I said, "Teach me. I'm not here just to be your supervisor. I'm here to learn what I need to know so I can do everything that I'm supposed to be doing as manager." No, didn't want to do it. Didn't want to treat me. Oh well, what's her face should have done it. Well, what's her face didn't do it. She quit 2 weeks early to go to her new job. Well, they decided to, you know, they were putting all the stuff on this cart that was supposed to go elsewhere. So I went and I took it elsewhere. Granted, my mistake was I had my coat on already, like I was getting ready to leave. I hadn't punched out. I was still on the clock. I was doing my job. They wanted to say that I was stealing. I wanted to go. I wanted to fight it because it's like I knew it was bullshit. But then something in me said, no. If you win the fight, they're either going to be spiteful towards you and do things out of spite, or they're going to quit and we're going to have to find somebody else. And I don't know. I didn't know enough. I was willing to say, okay, you know what? I'll step down. I'll step down and be a regular deli worker, but you know, I'm not going to let you guys try to. I just said, fuck it. I had the union worker, and we were reviewing the particular camera that was seeing what I was doing. I said, wait a minute. Well, I've got you in the office. Is it my right to ask you to make sure you watch all the cameras to see where I went? Because if you see me go up front with that dolly, putting stuff in a bag and walking out the door, then you can say I stole stuff. But until then, this is moot. I'll come back tomorrow to work. It's like, no, you can't work. You're on suspension because we got to figure this out. And I said, that's fine, Danny. I got a piece of mail a month later asking me to go to St. Louis to have a court-appointed session. And if I couldn't make it, well, I forfeit my case. I went, are you freaking kidding me? My wife was working at the time. I forgot what job she was working. I could not use my vehicle to go to St. Louis, and I tried to. No, I can't drive my mom's vehicle outside of Rolla because I'm afraid that something might happen and I'll be stuck out in the road. Um, so that's how I lost that job. And then, well, basically all the other jobs I pretty much quit for one reason or another. Either because I felt like I was being misused, and nobody I talked to gave a rat's ass. I had one. I had one grocery store job here in Rolla that basically one of the girls who was a new person tried to get me fired. Basically, well, they tried to say that I did something I didn't do, and I went, look, you got to realize, first off, these cameras don't get all your angles. So whatever she's saying, if you cannot see me doing it, it ain't being done. Because I don't need to, I got a wife. Why do I need to be inappropriate around a coworker? You know, but they were like, when she write this note, and we looked at the cameras, and I'm like, can I see those cameras? That's the one thing. That particular job, I was like, okay, here, I see her note. Can I see the camera? You say that you saw me do it? Oh, we don't have that footage. Where's the footage then? Oh, we got rid of it. These cameras don't record. I'm like, well, obviously, if you say I did it because you saw it on the camera, it recorded something. So I just went, see you guys later. You just lost one of your best workers. And the thing is, my supervisor for the deli said, yes, we did. We're sorry. And don't apologize to me. Apologize to my wife. I don't do this just for myself. I do this because there's a purpose to what I do to earn that money. And that money is to help take care of my family. Simple as that. So, be honest with you folks, this situation with my back or not, I really don't want to work for anybody just because of that. Because I've had too many issues, especially here in this podunk small ass town. I am tired of being ridiculed. I'm tired of being put down. I'm tired of being lied about. I'm tired of being lied to. You know, this book that I'm reading, I'm starting to realize that it's not all this crap that I've had to go through. You know, I don't know how much of it could be my fault. Maybe I'm just too nice of a guy. Maybe I'm too worried about everybody else around me and not myself. You know. Hey, sweetie. All right, come back in for your bone. I'm, you know, far as I'm concerned, this country and all the things that's going on because of this country, it can go tits up, as I'm concerned. You know, I have worked, I don't know how many years, and basically I will tell you the truth. Every time I've gone to work, into my job, I go balls to the walls and put out, you know, 150 to 200% of my life and my energy into my jobs and worrying about other people and not fully worrying about my family, let alone myself. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, with all the things that are going on with the Middle East and too many people not understanding the full ramifications of what's going on and how many American companies, let alone the U.S. president, supporting Israel to literally commit murder and mass destruction to another group of people. You know, I don't care who they are. It's like us trying to basically wipe out freaking Canada just because they're in our way, just because religious beliefs say that, you know, God gave us Canada. God didn't give us Canada, and I don't see any reasons for like going to war to Canada. They haven't done us any wrong, you know. But all this shit going on with Israel, no, it's like a bunch of bullies on a schoolyard trying to flex each other, you know, flex the muscles and see how far we can push each other before annihilation. Excuse me, Israel. Did you ever read about the apocalypse and the four horsemen? Well, you're adding to the Revelation or whatever you want, you know, Revelation, the last book of the Bible. But the thing is, they don't believe in the New Testament. They're still waiting for Moses. Moses is dead. He's not going to get resurrected. Jesus did in their own homelands, and they rejected Jesus for being the Messiah. You know, maybe I'm wrong on those thoughts. I don't know. The thing is, if shit keeps on going on the way they are, I'm not going to have to worry about how much I dislike the government, you know, the president, McDonald's, Starbucks, and I don't know how many other major companies that support Israel. Yeah, back in the Bible days where God literally said to Israel, the people, this is your promised land. Now, did he say all this? Or did he say, you know, you get cut off right there because that land belongs to those people, even though those people were pagans? It's been over 2,000 years. Now, if you read the Bible correctly, and if I'm reading it correctly and translating it correctly, we are in the end times. I mean, last thing we need right now is, you know, a group of people, and I don't care if it's the president, McDonald's, whomever, supporting the possibility of the end times. I don't know if I like that idea. I mean, now it's not that I'm bashing the president. No, because, you know, or at least I'm not bashing the seat that makes him the president. I'm I'm basically not happy with his decisions. You know, just like Trump and a lot of his decisions, I wasn't happy with him. And y'all know how I felt about him, but I was never bashing the seat of the president. There's a difference. You can have a president, or you can have a man sitting on the seat of the president. In my eyes, it don't matter. You're either a dictator or I don't even know how to put it now. All I know is when our people, the American people, which is represented by the president, sides with a group of people who are just pure destructive. Now, if you're not happy with your territory that has been agreed to over the centuries, well, and tough shit is all I can say. Unless you literally want to commit a war that could spread into World War III, basically the end times. All I'm going to do is sit back and go, y'all are a bunch of idiots. I've never lived to see a war. I don't even consider what happened in the Middle East a war. That was what I would consider a police action, just like Vietnam. As a child of the military who was overseas with my father and mother, and they practiced war games, which I'm pretty sure Mona understands what war games are, if she was ever, well, you did say you were in a couple of different countries. The thing is, as a kid, it might seem like fun. Oh, look, they're hiding under, camouflage meshing or camouflage tarps and whatnot, and eating and sleeping, out in the open, and eating, K rations as they were at the time. Basically a cardboard box with a couple tin cans, some tissue paper, little things like that you would think you'd take on a camping trip. Not anything big that fit in the box, but just, the box and whatever was in it. Sometimes the dessert was good, sometimes it was nasty. Canned peaches, no. Pudding, canned pudding, yeah, pretty good. Canned spaghetti and meatballs, yeah, I like that. You might think it's fun as a kid, but when you grow up and realize what they were doing at the time, because we were so close to basically East Berlin, and the communist bloc at the time, you realize, dang, these people were doing practices to basically protect not only the American people that were in Europe, but the actual people in those countries. Well, granted, Germany had a really good army and whatnot, but still, you're there as a defense force. Basically, their job when I learned about it was basically they were there to protect certain roads and whatnot, while the American civilization, the American civilians were rushed to local airports and whatnot to get the heck out of Dodge. That was scary. Here we are, 20 years, 83, 93, yeah, 30 years later or more. 83 was when we left Germany. We got there in 80. So, do the math. I don't see the reason for any kind of negativity, whether it's a conflict with another country. Granted, this is going to be one of those, hey, Kettle, you're black moments. I don't like what's going on with support from us, but at the same time, I cannot argue with the president because he is the president. I can sit there and go, I don't really appreciate what he's doing, but the thing is, unless he is committing an act of treason against the American people that can be proven, then we have a problem. Me, don't don't do anything with that. I gotta change that out. She's playing with the air filter, or nosing the air filter. There's a lot of things I don't like. I don't dwell on them as much as I used to because it's like, why am I worried about it? I mean, all it's going to do is cause me issues of one form or another, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual. It don't matter. What matters is we take care of each other, not just as I'm taking care of my wife, but we need to look not only at ourselves for self-care and, that kind of thing, but we need to look at the world around us and ask ourselves, what can we do to make things better for everybody, not just me, not just my family, but the whole planet. We're interconnected in one way, shape, or form. And, you know, that's what we need to worry about. Yes, I do vote. That's why Biden's in control, not Trump. And don't start on that because all you're going to do is trigger, and I don't need people triggering me. I've already learned both the soft and the hard way that people who trigger me just need to go bye-bye. I don't have to pay attention to them. They're not living in my house. So, and they can go to talk to whomever they want. And I'm not even going to talk about some of the stuff I discovered recently about, a couple of different people. Similar to, not just similar, but people that I'm happy I don't deal with no more. That's fine. It's fine. But yes, I do vote. I have not paid attention to who's on the docket this year or this election season. But after finding out bits and pieces about what's going on because of Israel, I am not going to vote for the same person as I did last time. And if the one person that was president last time is on the docket, I won't vote for that person either. In fact, if there's nobody that I like on the docket, I will have to think hard about that choice. Or I'll just do what I did last time when it was. Well, actually, I did vote for Hillary when it was Hillary and Trump. In fact, I think I voted for, I don't go by their like, are they Democratic or are they Republican? That's bullshit. I go for what have they done in the past for this country. You know, what do they say they're going to do, which I hope they do. Biden actually did a lot for this country until this whole situation with Israel happened, and then it was like, yeah, nah, because in a way, people who are supporting Israel are actually, supporting war and they're supporting death and destruction. Right, exactly. Who can do the best for the United States? You know, we found out that Trump was a lot of talk and very little action. We found out that Biden did a lot of action, but some of it, I wonder, who he was doing it for at the after the fact. I've lived in two different countries. One of them I was born in, and I've lived in I don't know how many states. Actually, I can probably count them all. Let's see here. I was not born yet, but Utah. Mom was pregnant with me. Gerald, Missouri. I was a baby. Don't remember nothing. born in the Philippine Islands. My dad was Air Force. My mom was American. Um, Tucson, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, Little Rock, Arkansas, Jerome, Missouri, Dixon, Missouri, St. James, Missouri, and Rolla, Missouri. A lot of places from my youth I don't remember. Well, I don't remember that much. What are you whining about? There's nothing in that box for you. It's all daddy's stuff. Unless I use some of her squeaky toys as filler, which I might have because I don't like squeakiness. No, I don't need to change my channels, Betty, and I don't listen to any of the ABC. I don't listen to the Alphabet Soup channel. I listen to basically there is a freelance group of truthful broadcasters or whatnot that are on the internet. I'm not, they're was it 1440 is the name of their channel. I don't like listening to anybody that can be controlled by the government, which most news channels are controlled by the government. The BBC, which is British Broadcasting, is basically more truthful than any of the broadcast channels that I know about here in the states, including the. Would you don't even play with that box? You chew on that box, you're going to get in trouble. CNN, all those no, they're government controlled. That's why I listen to independent groups, and then I base my information and my decisions on them. Because last time they were doing all kinds of reports on Trump, and I was just like, no. Half of it was being basically wasn't even near the truth, and they were like trying to use whatever information they could get that wasn't even truthful. And that's why I don't listen to main channel broadcasting because it's all negative, it's all garbage. It doesn't have any truth on it, and I would rather listen to a news broadcast from Germany where I have to have a translation on my phone than listen to anything from America because most American news channels, except for that one, and I don't even think they're there. I don't think they're totally American. I think they're a combination of the different, a lot of different allied countries that basically see things from the outside and they're telling the truth. Because we get blinded too easily when we listen to news broadcasts and whatnot from America because they're too close that they don't see the broad spectrum. And if this becomes a political, who said what, I'll shut it down. I'll shut whoever's talking about it because I really don't care. That's basically my point. I don't care unless I know that the person who's supposed to be in charge of our country is for America, not themselves, not a foreign country, especially a foreign country that's going to commit to war. No. I mean, I thought in the beginning Biden did a lot of good stuff. Then all of a sudden, the stuff that he's supporting for Israel, it's just like, no. If you're going to support somebody who's going to literally try to eradicate another nation because of what they believe that God gave them, no. It's the 21st century, people. Let's live in harmony. Let's coexist because without coexisting, all we're going to do is commit atrocities not only to a fellow human being, but to the world. I mean, I can go back to like the Victorian era where they were burning coal and wood like crazy, that it literally started building up greenhouse gases because, we were burning in mass, not just for our homes, but for all the factories that were running off of steam, which was running off of coal fueled or wood fueled furnaces. No, we're not going to do that. Yeah, I love history. Don't get me wrong. I love history. But there are parts of history that even I don't like. Like, you know, what caused the bubonic plague? You know, what about all the, I mean, Britain and a lot of European nations burning coal and wood and whatnot during the Victorian era or the industrial era to create the marvels that we have nowadays, not realizing how much pollution we were putting in the air. So, you know, I could literally sit here and go on and on and on about all kinds of different things. But the thing is, what it boils down to is we are a human society, which basically means it don't matter what you want to call yourself. You want to call yourself an American, a Canadian, a Mexican, British, German, Swedish, Norwegian, Israeli, Palestinian. It don't matter. You know, we are a human race. We have to learn how to live in coexistence and help each other. Now, yeah, there are a lot of things out there in the world that were caused by people that just I don't agree with. You know, I don't really agree with the modern era taking over with this digital devices that unfortunately teenagers and certain people of certain ages have these phones and they can't put the dang thing down to drive. I see it all the time driving around Raleigh. Coming from the high school, oh shoot, I'm driving. The college, oh, I gotta stop because there's a red light and I'm about ready to hit somebody and I'm paying too much attention to Joe Schmo, you know, texting me about the football game and how bad it was, or prom dresses, whatever, you know. We're a human race. If we can't learn after a millennium or more, 2,000? Yeah, 2,000 years. 2,000 years and we still cannot learn how to coexist. Oh yeah, we'll come together to help each other out. You know, the Middle East, it's, you know, it's burning up. Dude, quit trying to get in that box. Come over here. No, come over here, or I'm gonna throw you out. I'll throw you out of the room. I, yeah, I shut out some people. I've shut out people because I don't need to listen to their negativity. I don't. I've got enough of my own, and I'm trying to get rid of it. Problem is, if people are going to come in here and spew their negativity, no, I'm not going to do it. There was two people on my wife's channel that were wondering why they can't comment on my lives or at all. Well, one of them is not the real person. They want to call themselves JDH or JD something or other, JD Mailman or something like that. Well, I looked at that person's information. I can't tell if it's a real person or not. I really can't. Because he's supposed to be a Christian, and in one moment he's supporting negativity, and the next moment he's all, you know. And then the other one, I think her name is simply Karen. Well, if she got blocked, I don't know how, because she's never really come across as a negative person or supporting negative concepts, which is fine by me. So I've got to sit down and figure out what's going on. Well, they might be doing it for a multitude of different reasons. Some of it may be because whatever that ingredient is comes from Israel and they don't want to support Israel. I can understand that. Other than that, maybe they've got reasons. They're trying to keep their restaurant open, but they can't afford all the ingredients because of price hikes. You know, I know a lot of different companies who do that without well, whatever it is. If I don't know about it, so I ain't worried about it. You know, I can't afford to go to restaurants much lately. I've been home cooking or doing whatever I can to feed the family. Sorry, she looked at my hand and it kind of surprised me. Like, what? What, have I been on here too long? Let me see how long I've been on here. Oh, God dang it! Come on. Oh yeah, I've been on here for an hour and a half. Um, yeah, I tell you what, home cooking can be the greatest thing on the face of the planet. I wish I could remember to record stuff, and I'm trying. Lately, we have not been able to go to do that. I hate to say this. Lately, we have not been able to do as healthy as I'd like to because healthy ingredients like lettuce and carrots and stuff like that kind of are expensive. And I've been looking. I look online for recipes because I like getting ideas off the internet. I usually go to like recipes.com, or I can't remember the name of the other one. Hi, girl. You want to say hi to everybody? Hmm? Should I tilt the camera towards you? There's Oreo. Who's that? Who's that? Oreo. Um, just yeah, just the feeling of taking those fresh raw ingredients and turning them into a home cooked meal for your family. There's no feeling, there's no greater joy of doing something like that for your family. Or one of the things I thought about doing when we moved to Colorado is, and I don't know if they pay or not, but I part of me doesn't care, is to work in a soup kitchen and make food for the masses that stay at shelters or things like that. Oh, did I put the soda in the way? Who's that? But my mom my mom was not a really good food person, so she never canned. My aunt, who was out in Ohio, used to can. Hello, and when things were cheaper and I was younger, she used to. Oh, I know it's you. You see you, and you don't know what's going on, and you're barking. Hey, ow, ow, ow. Easy, Oreo, easy. Um, she Yes, I drink Mountain Dew. I do not like Pepsi, but I'll drink Mountain Dew. Um, I have not heard anything about Pepsi or the Mountain Dew company supporting Israel. Um, hey, get out of that box. So no, this is my one hook, my one hang up or my one addiction that is not dangerous to anybody. Um, and if you're just trying to stop me from drinking Mountain Dew because you think I shouldn't, well, sorry, that won't happen. And since really, we haven't seen that on our watch list. My wife watches out for that stuff, so she hasn't said anything to me. You know, the only one thing I can say about yeah, my mom's hooked on regular Coca Cola. She tried Pepsi once, and no, mm-mm. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to end this because I'm over an hour and a half. Um, my whole thing about the whole situation about the Middle East is, um, yeah, I'm not happy about it. It's a dangerous, volatile situation that could, because most of our enemies are in that part of the world. I mean, you've got Iran, Iraq, Russia. Of course, we do have a lot of allies there. Um, so I don't think we should. Um, I don't think we should condemn but we should not support what's going on there. I mean, if Armageddon is right around the corner, there's nothing we can do about it. There's literally nothing we can do about it. This is a fight between good and evil, not country to country. This is literally global. It can affect us globally, and I personally think that supporting any country who wants to commit atrocities against a neighbor just because, same thing with Desert Storm. You know, granted, it was a Middle Eastern thing. I don't think we would have gotten involved if it wasn't for the Bush family having oil rights in Saudi Arabia, not Saudi Arabia, but that town, that country. Sorry, I don't remember names. Kuwait. There we go, Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, and basically, you know, it it shouldn't personally should not have happened. You know, just because Saddam Hussein, got ballsy, um, it should have stopped right. I mean, we should have gone in and stopped it right away and not wait because I mean, oil prices as is crazy. Of course, basically, at first I was like, why are we worried about um, oil in Kuwait when here in America we've got the Alaskan pipeline, we've got Texas and the Gulf states, and then we've got a few other little states here and there that have oil. It's not about the oil, it's about the commodity of trade. And I was like, that sounds ridiculous. Why are we trading oil with a foreign country when, we've got enough of our own? That's just me. That's my way of thinking because I don't stop. I don't condemn or I don't condone war of any kind of conflict where two nations are fighting over something as ridiculous as oil. I mean, shit, the world was doing great before oil. The world was doing great and it was healthier before the industrial era. Am I saying we should go back to the Renaissance era when we weren't burning coal and wood, faster than a trucker can get from one part of this country to another? I was going to say something else, but it was not appropriate. Uh oh, I'm gonna have to get off anyhow because my battery just told me to. Sorry, folks, my battery just told me low bat, so I am gonna have to get off. But think about this. Don't think about the war of Israel or whatever's going on in the Middle East currently. Don't think about the industrial pollution that we started way back in the industrial age or the Victorian era, whatever one you want to call it. Think about what would this world be if we all got along. We didn't have to burn fossil fuels. We didn't need anything that basically harmed the planet, and the planet was, never got sick because of pollution. What kind of harmony? What kind of nirvana, if you want to say, or what kind of planet will we be living on? I mean, no conflict. Not that God decided to say, okay, we're going to take every negative aspect of human life, yank it out, shove it down the devil's throat, and burn him alive. Granted, the devil is a man-made concept, so I don't believe in him. So sorry. Um, I mean, look at now. If you're a Christian, I'm sorry about what I'm going to say. Looked at how true pagans lived back before Christianity spread across the globe. Pretty much, pagans live in harmony with the planet. They don't do harm to anything or anyone unless somebody decides to do harm to them. Okay. For the most part, we're going to take in the History Channel's The Vikings, the one that I love. The Vikings did have skirmishes between each other. That was before borders were agreed upon by kings. Okay. Vikings went looking for new land, not to conquer, because they were willing to live in harmony with the British people that basically surrounded them. They went there looking for fresh wood, fresh farming grounds, because the land they lived on was a harsh, cold land. They would not have attacked anybody in Britain. They would have tried to trade with the British people. Okay? But instead, some greedy ass king from England decided to attack the little village that was agreed upon for the Norse people to have on the English coastline. Okay? So, they got attacked. Do you think they were going to say, it's okay, you killed our countrymen? No. Just automatically attacking somebody else is going to cause basically a feud between one group and another. But let's say that never ever happened. That the little village that they agreed upon stayed where it was not ransacked, was not destroyed, the people weren't murdered. That all the king did was come down, say hi, look around, made a trade agreement, and went home. Thing is, war did not start with the Vikings or the British. Conflict happened because of the jealousy of Cain and Abel. Let's go back to that point. That never happened. That Cain realized it wasn't God being angry because he was not giving the freshest and the fattest of his flock. But Cain decided to give exactly as the God commanded. No conflict, no jealousy, no anger, no brother killing brother. We never knew what anger or jealousy or violence ever was. It never became part of the human psyche. Wow, I think that would have been like the ultimate paradise. Yes, the snake conned Eve before Eve conned Adam, and then all that stuff happened. Let's say it did happen. Yes, God wanted to teach them a lesson and remove them from Eden. But then God allowed Adam and Eve to create their own Eden without anger, without jealousy, without being embarrassed or shame or any of the negative stuff that was caused by that snake. Yes, they might have eaten the fruit of life, but they were taught a lesson and realized, okay, we screwed up. We listened to somebody else. We didn't listen to God. We listened to a ground-crawling serpent. But they learned their lesson and did not repeat it. Taught their kids. They didn't repeat it. And none of their descendants repeated it because God realized, hey, they're trying. They learned their lesson. Let's take that curse away from them so there will be no pain. There will be no harm. There will be no negativity. Yes, death has to stay on the platform, because if death wasn't around, we would have overpopulated the planet already, and something would have had to give. That's my thing. Something does give. Every year, constantly. Mother Nature. Floods, tornadoes, earthquakes, hurricanes, volcanoes, drought. That's Mother Nature's way of keeping things in balance. One of the things the Bible taught me when I was a kid, we're supposed to be stewards, not destroyers. A steward does not destroy. A steward takes care of. He protects. That's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be stewards that live in harmony with the planet, protecting the planet, caring for the planet. No, look around. We're destroyers. We're destroyers. War, famine, death, oil spills, wildfire, wildflowers, wildfires. That was caused by a man, not because of a lightning strike, but because somebody was stupid enough not to make sure that their fire was fully extinguished. Oh yeah, there's no fire coming up, but there's burning embers. Dry leaves blow on top of that. You've got a forest fire. That's man-made. That's a man-caused problem. Why are we living in such disarray and disharmony? Because somebody's jealous about something? Because Israel thinks that they should have wiped out all of the I can't even think of their names now. That Israel should have all of the Middle East, all of Gaza. Who are they going to attack next after they're done with this current group of people? According to the Israel Torah, anybody who does not worship God is basically an enemy, is a sinner, pagan, whatever you want to call them. You don't have to be that way. I live in harmony with my Christian pagan beliefs. You know, people can call me whatever they want to. I don't care. I grew up the first half of my life believing in God, believing in Jesus. Now, I research my ancestors. Now, if you don't like that, well, that's not my problem. That's your problem. You know, life is what it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what religion you are, what you study, what you believe in. It's about living in harmony with that. I've read enough books on different religions that I could be multi-religious and still be happy with who I am. Besides, you've got religion, and then you've got, oh, I forgot what the other thing was called. But there's a difference between religion and believing. Okay? So I believe in God. I believe what He created, what He's done for us. The fact that if it wasn't for Him, we wouldn't be here. But I also believe that nature, in all its grandeur, which was created by God, can be a useful tool that some people might want to call witchcraft or paganism or whatever. I don't care. That's their problem. My problem is just, you know, am I going to be able to wake up in the morning and move around? How much pain do I have to deal with? How much pain does Jerry have to deal with? Trying to talk calmly and coolly with Jerry about the move to Colorado because I get antsy. And once I start getting antsy about something, it's no longer about when. It's about how quickly. But anyhow, I'm gonna let you guys go. And I've given you a lot of things to talk about or think about. It is your decision on if you want to listen to what I have to say. It is your decision to live in harmony and coexist with not only myself, but your family, your neighbors, the world. We have to learn how to coexist. It's that simple. And I'll tell you what, it is so much easier to learn how to coexist in this crazy world than follow a religion or to follow what you believe is right and wrong when everybody else around you is trying to tell you that you're wrong or you're a sinner for believing in both Jesus. You can't believe in Jesus and paganism. I don't care. You believe in what you want to believe. I grew up a Christian. I still am a Christian at heart. But I also know that everything that I study, everything I'm looking at, that has to do with using plants and oil, natural oils and crystals and things like that, which were created by God, are not unholy, are not devilish. If you look, if you realize, one of the things you need to realize, the devil was not created by Jesus. It was not called, he was not made by God. The devil does not exist. He's a fallen angel, and there's a whole load of difference between a devil, which we have in Norse mythology, or a fallen angel. Now, they never said in any of the information I have that was translated from the Dead Sea Scrolls about Lucifer. He wasn't even called Lucifer. That was a name made up. His original name was Beelzebub, and he was an archangel who got jealous because God was paying more attention to us than him and the other angels. He rebelled, and him and his followers were cast out. Does not say that they were thrown into hell, which, by the way, is a Nordic word, and basically it's the name of the goddess Hela, who basically half of her side looks like a corpse and the other half looks like a maiden, a beautiful maiden. Okay? And she lives and controls the realm of Helheim. So when you talk about hell, I think of that, not some God-made place. Heck, for all we know, we are living in hell because of all the negative stuff that goes around and does not get changed. Maybe it's a proving ground to say, yes, you're worthy of being with God or whomever you believe in. But anyhow, I'm going to leave you with those thoughts. And they are my thoughts. And, if you want to incorporate them or look into them, hopefully your library has information on Norse mythology. So until next time, you guys have a good day. Bye.